There's this movie called Kingdom of Heaven. There's this scene where this young knight, he was starting to question his heroism. He was questioning his purpose, and he went to his mentor, this older knight, and he said, I feel like I'm losing my religion. God doesn't speak to me. And the older knight, he looks at him with this really perplexed look, like, hey, I put no stock in religion. By the name religion, I see the lunacy of fanatics of every denomination. Call it the will of God. I've seen way too much religion in the eyes of way too many murderers. Holiness is in right action and goodness and your actions that you do to defend those who can't defend themselves. Holiness is in right action, and what you do every day will determine whether you're a good man or not. I love that scene. It's an awesome movie, Kingdom of Heaven. And it goes right to the point that I am trying to bring out in this speech today, which is, what is a hero? What is your definition of a hero? What is mine? The book definition, it says a person who is admired or idealized for courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. I know as a child, I used to constantly idolize heroes. But my heroes as a child obviously wasn't the heroes that I have today. They were heroes like the stories I heard in Sunday school, like King David, who fought lions, he fought bears, he fought giants. And then I was hearing stories about Conan the Barbarian, who was just the epitome of heroism in my mind at that time. He would run with his sword, and he had this little harness on and this cloth that covered, and he would just be slicing, dicing. It was all about honor, courage, code. But as I got older and older, even as a young child still, but as I got older, there was this character that stuck out to me. And he helped me answer that question, what is a hero? But in my naive mind, obviously, to me, he was a hero. His name was He-Man. It was this cartoon that came out. It was called Masters of the Universe. He-Man was the star of this show, and it would come on every time, and it would just make my heart flutter. The story would start, as the show came on, he would come walking out, this unassuming man. He was a prince. And he says, my name is Adam, Prince of Eternia, and defender of the secrets of Castle Grayskull. This is Cringer, which is his little cat that he kept around. It's a little scary cat. But he said, this is Cringer, my fearless friend. And then he would step up and say, fabulous secret powers were revealed to me the day I held off my magic sword and said, and he'd pull it out and yell out, by the power of Grayskull. And then lightning would come down, hit this sword, and he would immediately turn into this Conan the Barbarian looking guy. He'd have on his cloth, he'd have on his harness, he'd have this sword in the back, and he's yelling, I have the power. And then the lightning would hit the sword, and then he would aim the sword at the cat, Cringer. And then all of a sudden, lightning would shoot out of the sword, and Cringer would become Battle Cat. So a big saber-toothed tiger that he would put a saddle on, and he would ride this cat into battle. Also, re-emphasizing that honor and that courage thing. It was always about the same thing. Well, that was my hero to me at such a young age. But there was this time, when that time came, which is a great time, I finally got my He-Man toy. I had saved up my allowance, got the toy. I even bought a little matching Battle Cat with it. And then from that point on, me and He-Man, we were road dogs, man. Everywhere I went, He-Man went. So if you ask me at that time, what is a hero? I'm going to show you this dog. This is my hero right here. Did you see the way he fought off Skeletor? You see the way he fight off these animals, these creatures with this sword? He is the man. Stand by my side everywhere I went. But we had this tradition, me and He-Man. We had this love thing going on, and every Saturday morning, it would be me and He-Man and my pot of cereal. Yes, I said pot. because I ate enough cereal to a bowl never was big enough. I would have had to go back and get two. But my pot of cereal and my He-Man. But this Saturday showed up. Something was missing. He-Man was missing. He's my hero. He's the guy who I looked at me. How am I supposed to watch cartoons without He-Man? Who's going to defend the secrets of Castle Grayskull without He-Man? So I panic. I immediately run all over the place. I'm trying to find my He-Man. It's Saturday morning. My sister's sleeping in the bed. She's just a baby. My parents are asleep. And I'm like, I guess the common sense thing would be probably find a flashlight, look around, be quiet. But you know, when you're a panicky kid, it's Saturday morning and you're missing your hero, and yeah, your common sense ain't working very well. So I did what any kid who panics does. I got a cigarette lighter. Yeah, I got a cigarette lighter. I got up under the bed and I was looking for my He-Man toy because I needed that He-Man. And I got up under my sister's bed. Now she's still asleep. And I look and I see He-Man back off in the corner back there. He must have fell behind the bed. I said, this is one serious cigarette lighter. I can see everything under here. But it really wasn't a cigarette lighter. There's a reason I could see He-Man. I could see He-Man because the bed was engulfed in flames. That was the light that I was able to see with. And then I panicked. I'm like, oh my God, my sister's in the bed. It's on fire. It would have made more sense to, grab my sister and then tell her. But no, I ran into the room scared to death like, Mom, Dad, my sister's bed's on fire. They half sleep panically. Mom runs in there, grabs the sister. Dad runs in there, snatches the mattress off, water on it. It's soot, it's smoke. It's hot. We are doing everything we can to keep the house from going up in flames. But while he's running back and forth getting that mattress out of there, I see He-Man off in the corner, so I dashed over there, got my He-Man real scared. But next thing I know, I'm sitting out on the porch, Dad's sitting next to me. I'm expecting this massive butt whooping is going to come as a result. He was just like, son, are you okay? And I'm sitting here holding my He-Man, scared to death, like, whew, what is a hero? I'm looking at this little guy here and I'm like, all because of you, I just almost burnt up my sister. But this man is sacrificing to do everything he can to save her, to save me, to save my house, to save my family. And it changed me to redefine what a hero is. Because now I'm looking at my father and I'm looking at the sacrifices that he made. Not just that day, but all days. He sacrificed his time. He sacrificed his talents. But as I got older and older, my brain starts thinking, I'm still obsessed with this hero concept. So as I graduate high school, then I join the United States Marines. I get shipped off to combat, and then I get another example, a more lasting example as to what a hero is. As I watch these men, these women, myself, as we sacrifice, put our lives on the line, just so we can protect our brothers and sisters to our left and to our right. The mission didn't matter. All that matters is that there's someone over there trying to hurt us. These are my friends, and I'm going to do whatever I can to protect them. Sacrifice seems to be the word that follows the word heroism all the time. There's so many different definitions, but sacrifice seems to be a common theme. Even in today's day, when you look at this pandemic as how it has gripped this nation and all over the world, you see the doctors, you see the nurses, the firemen, the police officers, these people that in spite of the fact that it had gotten really bad, they still got up, they still went. If you called as an emergency, they still ran in, even though their lives would be in danger. Sacrifice. That's the hero. That is the definition. That is what had to shift in me. As I saw my father, as I saw my fellow Marines, as I see the people today in this time, as they sacrifice constantly. A good example of this was this incredible movie. It was called 300. Not the Thermopylae 300, where all the 300 men were, fighting against Persia as they fought them off. No, it was the second one, 300 Rise of an Empire. This is a depiction between the Greeks and the Persians. There was this naval battle. And there was this admiral, his name was Themistocles. He gave this pre-battle speech right before they went to combat. And it sums up almost everything when it comes to the definition of a hero. Every time I hear that speech, it just completely, just one, it makes my heart shudder. And two, it sums up the sacrifice. That sums up the definition of hero. He stands there. He says, steady your hearts, men. Look deep into your souls. For your mettle is going to be tested this day. If in the heat of battle, you're looking for a reason to fight on, an idea for which you will give up all that you will ever have, you don't need to look very far. Just look to the man at your side. This is the why of battle. This is the unbreakable brotherhood of arms. This is what separates the hero from everyone else. This is the idea that you would give up everything that you have just for the man who stands on your left and on your right. So you fight now. You fight for your brothers. You fight for your families. You fight for your country. You fight for Greece. What is a hero? As that speech stirs and that music plays, I see these men who are willing to sacrifice themselves. There's so many different causes that heroes fight for. So many different missions. But there's one common theme. It's always a sacrifice. They're always sacrificing for the left and to the right of them. That is the why of combat. That is the definition of a hero. The definition of sacrifice. Thank you, and have a good afternoon.